Hey there, history buffs! Today, I'm diving into a flashpoint in American history that set the stage for Revolution, the Stamp Act of 1765. This seemingly simple piece of legislation lit the fuse for colonial unrest and ultimately, independence. So what was the Stamp Act? Well, in 1765, the British Parliament passed this act imposing a direct tax on the colonies. It required that many printed materials in the colonies be produced on stamped paper produced in London, carrying an embossed revenue stamp. This included newspapers, legal documents, and even playing cards. The goal? To help cover the costs of British military presence in America following the costly 7 Years' War. But why did this anger the colonists so much? Simply put, they saw it as a blatant overreach of power. For the first time, Britain was imposing a direct internal tax on the colonies without their consent. The rallying cry, "No taxation without representation," emerged because the colonists had no representatives in Parliament. They believed it was unfair to be taxed by a government in which they had no voice. The reaction was swift and fierce. Colonial leaders, merchants, and ordinary citizens united in opposition. The Stamp Act Congress convened in October 1765, bringing together representatives from 9 colonies to draft a formal protest to the King and Parliament. This was a significant step toward colonial unity. But it wasn't just about formal protests. The Sons of Liberty, a radical group, led public demonstrations and sometimes even violent acts against tax collectors. Effigies were burned and tax offices were ransacked. Many tax collectors resigned out of fear for their safety. Boycotts of British goods also spread, hitting British merchants hard. In March 1766, the British Parliament repealed the Stamp Act, bowing to pressure from both sides of the Atlantic. However, they simultaneously passed the Declaratory Act, asserting their right to tax the colonies in all cases whatsoever. The damage had been done. The Stamp Act ordeal had sowed the seeds of distrust and resentment that would grow into full-blown revolution. The Stamp Act was more than just a tax, it was a catalyst. It united the colonies in a common cause and set them on a path toward independence. This act of defiance against the Crown was a critical moment where the American spirit of resistance was born. So next time you think about the American Revolution, remember that it wasn't just about battles and declarations. It was also about ordinary people standing up against what they saw as injustice. The Stamp Act of 1765 was a small spark that ignited a much larger flame of freedom. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this quick dive into history, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more 3-minute history flashpoints. Until next time, keep exploring the past to understand the present.